Luka Nation. I think this is going to be a fun one, especially if Cage lets it rip, because both Cage and I are in moods today. We're both in some pretty aggressive moods, and
Dude, how could you be?
if
How
you
could
were
you be in a mood? I just saw you putting tomatoes and seasoning into a pot. There's a gorgeous pot of sauce at the end of this episode, rainbow for you, man. You know, I'm not gonna call it gravy, but I mean, how could you have such great things to look forward to? That dinner, it looks fire, man. Like, you know, be happy. You got tomatoes on
Well,
the
actually, let me
stove.
tell you. So I've learned this habit. So like I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I didn't have the energy that I normally do waking up. I didn't wake up with a lot of purpose today. I was kind of like a little bit uncertain. And what I've learned in my short 31 years of life is when you're feeling helpless, be helpful. So Bro's here, my buddy, his girlfriend's here. So I was like, I haven't made tomato sauce in a while. Why don't I create something? Right? When you create something, you come out from a place of like, I feel bad for me, and you put love and care, and you take something and you make it better. And that's what I
Put
just.
a little love in your sauce.
So,
No,
so, so,
sounds dirty.
so
So
why
wait, you're telling
I
me
feel good when I cook.
we've done 320-ish episodes, and you wake up happy every day. So today, on the 320th day, almost a full year doing this stuff, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. The only thing different in your life is the presence of Bro's girlfriend. So we need to dive into that a little bit. Let's go. I need to hear a
No,
little bit
that's
of
not why.
something here. This is what I'm hearing. This is what Luka Nation's hearing. What's going on? Are
Work.
you trying to say you have a problem with Bro's girlfriend? Because from what Bro said, she's a lovely lady.
I think what I'm learning.
So watch
You
this in
on
YouTube. Watch this on YouTube, folks. He's squirming.
my problem has nothing to do with ladies, and I'm actually going to salsa night. I didn't tell you we had salsa
Ooh.
night on Monday. But no, that my problem is not lady oriented. My
It's
problem is
salsa night every night in the Cage household. Sometimes chunky, sometimes medium, sometimes hot, sometimes with lime flavored chips if I'm feeling feisty. No, different kind of salsa.
I'm learning how to grow a business, how to hire on employees, how to work with content creators. That is all a learning process. Scaling a team, because scaling a team is partially the day-to-day task, but partially dealing with people's emotions, personalities, characters, their own personal goals. And I'm learning now. I myself am a very aggressive, ambitious person, and I motivate people oftentimes the way I'm motivated. And that hasn't worked. That hasn't worked when I ran the cafe with my dad. That hasn't worked running Luka Nation Network. That's never worked. But it's how I've always been the athlete that's like, when I get challenged by the coach, like, you came in not fit, or you can't score 10 goals in 10 games, or you're not good enough right now, you're going to be on the bench. That motivates me. I've always been motivated by challenges. Other people are motivated differently, and I'm learning through trial and error, maybe watching other people, how to be a better leader, how to be a better manager, how to be a better boss, so that we can all win. And some days it's easier. Some days I'm like, I just want to motivate myself today. Like, I don't even got enough motivation for others. So it's all of that stuff. And truthfully, I wouldn't have it any other way, because I chose that life, right? Like, I could have stayed at Wall Street. I could have made my 150K, played in the corporate bar league. You know, when you go play co-ed soccer, win the trophy, then go to the bars and drink beer. I could have chosen that life, and I didn't. So I can't feel bad for myself. Some days are just a little bit more difficult than others. I
They
put
certainly
Kate
are.
to sleep as always.
They certainly are. I'm trying to picture the trophy in the co-ed bar league. Is like a
By the
soccer
way,
player like holding like a beer. I played an urban professional New York basketball league is what it's called. The New York Urban Professional. It's a bunch of law firms and stuff like that playing in basketball. I got a jersey still somewhere. I was number 20. I wore Allen Houston's number. He was still playing when I was playing. Should tell you how long ago this was. But yeah, man, I still got my Urban Professional League jersey. It's got like, little scales of justice on the front of it. It's pretty cool. I'm a big shirt guy. I'll
My
say
last
that.
trophy was right after I got fired with Gary. We had the co-ed season, and I said I got fired, and we started the final. I reached out to my guy Tyler. I said, I'm a man that likes to finish what he started. If you'd have me, I want to be there for the final. And we brought the trophy home to Vayner. First time.
Wow.
First,
How many goals did you score?
we dominated. I was on a mission that day. We dominated every single game. We won like 6-0, 7-0, 8-1, I think. I was pissed.
You
I was
should have
pissed
kept
that
the
I got
trophy.
fired.
Why'd you let them get the trophy? You should have kept that trophy. Hold it for ransom. No,
It's right here, man.
this is your mental thing. Like you're gonna put the trophy back in their office, and every time they pass it, they have to remember that awesome soccer player that we fired. That I get it. You're playing the long game. You're playing chess there.
I'm a mind.
Eventually, they're gonna pass that trophy one day on a Thursday and be like, "We need to bring that Goldberg guy back. We haven't won this trophy since. Let's go." No, it'll work. I like this plan. You like Game of Thrones, right? You're gonna get the Iron Throne one day.
I've never seen Game of Thrones, but I would have liked to live through medieval times.
What? Two weird things. One, you've never seen Game of Thrones. That's odd. But I guess there are people out there who didn't see it. I mean, I didn't watch it for the first 5 seasons, but eventually it was impossible to not watch it. That's one. Two, you want to live in medieval times. So I'm guessing it's because you think medieval times is you pick a color of a knight like red and you cheer for him while people bring you bowls of soup and a quarter piece of chicken and you watch the joust go on and you cheer for your knight to win. Like you think medieval times is what happens in the medieval times restaurant. No?
I actually don't know what happens in the medieval times.
Dude, you've never been to medieval times? Oh my God, what kind of life have you lived? You never saw Game of Thrones and you never went to a medieval times? Oh my God. Oh my God. Someone needs to help this poor child. Next thing you tell me is you're living in Mexico.
You escaped USA to go live in Tulum. What an idiot.
You gotta love it. Well, listen, we got some relevant stuff going on here, right? I know it's a tough day for you. You had to power through your workout. Today was butt day, and that's usually the one that gives you the hardest time. So, those squats, man, no one likes to do those. I mean, it is what it is. But sports,
squats, hang cleans, deadlifts, walk-ups, where we walk the whole 4 flights of stairs with a 80-pound bag.
Oh, forget about it. I'm walking up 4 flights of stairs. You want to know when? 2 times. 1, someone's got a gun behind me. Or 2, someone told me they just opened a Chick-fil-A on the 4th floor. That's it. Those are the 2 times I'm walking up 4 stories. So sports.
That's the old cage. That's not the Fit Life cage.
Well, maybe I have to have a grilled chicken maybe from these guys. Actually, I started eating Greek food. I put this in. We got a couple of new members of the Fit Fam, Luka Nation Fit Fam. I had some Greek food, a little grilled vegetables, some chicken, some lamb. It was a good time, man. I feel like I'm eating Mediterranean style. They're pretty healthy. So, sports.
Can I talk about something before we get into sports?
Oh, I've said sports like 4 times now.
I have a bone to pick with some people.
Ooh.
There's maybe one guy, depends on how this rant goes, I'll call him out or not. But, there's so much cynicism in the hobby, and I don't understand where it comes from. I have this feeling that these people that are in the hobby that sit behind accounts, you're looking at me, kind of have a feeling where they want people to lose. And I don't get it. So today, Brian, who's the Leaf CEO, tweeted something about a grading card. Yes, Brian Gray. He's going to be hopefully our guest next week. So just a quick little shout out there. He tweeted something about a mistake a grading card company made. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I think grading card companies have made mistakes across the board. And I responded saying, it's not the mistake that they made. Every company's made mistakes. It's how they respond to the mistake. And then someone responded oh, how much are they paying you to say this?
Ooh.
And it's someone who's just a hobby cynic. And what's funny about that is there's more and more and more and more of these hobby cynics as if they get some enjoyment of the hobby burning and crashing. And I don't get why people want that, because what they need to understand is more companies, more people, more business owners, more money that comes into the hobby. The more you recruit other people into the hobby, everybody wins. As opposed to cynicism and negativity and pessimism, no one wants to be a part of that. So you're dividing the hobby, you're excluding people. No, people don't want to join. And it's bad long-term for the hobby. So I urge people listening to this to do their best to spread positivity. And if they can't spread positivity, just at least be neutral. The cynicism in the hobby is so weird. I've never seen an industry like it, where it's I feel that some people want it to crash and burn. And my curiosity or my question is why?
So I'll approach this 2 ways, right? I'll approach 2 ways. Number 1, humor. and with
Humor's the
specificity,
best recipe.
movies, right? So movies. So if you have not watched the movie History of the
On
World,
brand.
it is Mel Brooks. It's an older movie. It's hilarious. There are jokes they probably couldn't get away with today, but some funny stuff. And in it, a caveman becomes the first artist in the world. And the narrator says, and with the birth of the first artist comes the first critic. Immediately following art. As soon as you get art, somebody's going to tell you how crappy it is, right? So that's number one. Number two, the more serious one is there's a huge difference between the artist and the critic. And here, given your example, it's the person who is grading cards and then the person who comes on and is questioning their grades, questioning your motives, just questioning. The cynic, let's call it, right? As you did. Think about the dynamic between the two and then which one you want to be, right? You can only be that cynic if you're attempting to tear something down. And in order to tear something down, it means somebody is trying to build something up. So in life, which one do you want to be? You want to be the person who tries to build something? Or do you want to be the person who's constantly trying to tear shit down? I think it's a pretty easy call. But there's a lot of it in the hobby, man. I'm with you. Especially now, because there's a lot of people trying to build things.
Makes no sense to me. And it typically happens when card prices are down, but it happens when card prices are up as well. That's all I want to say. I like where you went with that. Mavs Clippers. Let's talk about that. I think the series is going to be longer than it seems. The Mavs went into Staples Center and they shot 50% from 3-point range, 35 for 70, 35 for 70. So I wanted to jump in here because I think the talk of the town is Luka revenge tour, Clippers. What's going on?
So it's funny, right? I saw a stat. Yeah, I saw a stat that said playoff averages for the first 8 games, and it was Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and I think Anthony Davis might have been on the list, and then also Luka. The reason for the stat was because Luka made it in the top 5, I think. But what's really funny was, if you look at the footnote on the stat, because it was the first 8 games, the footnote was all 8 games have been played against the Clippers. So he literally has only played playoff games against the Clippers right now. So yeah, I mean, is it a revenge tour? Does he know these guys? Is this Luka doing Luka? I'll tell you, for the second straight game, it seems like the biggest shot was hit by Tim Hardaway Jr. The biggest shots were hit by Tim Hardaway Jr. And maybe that's going to be the theme, right? It's which Batman has their Robin show up, right? We've seen Milwaukee and Batman Giannis, even though you don't want to say he's a Batman, but for right now on that team, he's Batman. Batman Giannis' team is doing well because his Robin Middleton showed up and hit the game winner, hits the big shots. His team is there for him. You look at the Mavericks, right? And it has happened, right? It's not only has Luka had 2 great statistical games, but Hardaway has shown up and hit big shots in both of those games, right? I think that's kind of the story. Look at the Clippers, right? Kawhi had 18 points in the first quarter yesterday. You know that? 18 points in the first quarter, right? But
finished for 41.
Where was Paul George for most of it? He had some real nice highlight moves every now and again. He made what's his name? Kristaps. He made KP look real silly. I mean, he knocked him right on his butt with a move, right? It's a great Top Shot moment, but ultimately it's a Top Shot moment in a loss. And I forget who it was. One of the ESPN commentators had a great thing today about Kawhi. And it might have been Stephen A. Smith, though. Matt Kellerman, I watch a lot of ESPN. I keep it on in the background, right? But it was Kawhi knows how to score. He doesn't know how to be a leader. This was the point that they were making, right? And they say, LeBron, even Anthony Davis, if LeBron doesn't have it all, those guys will show up. Talk about another Batman and Robin, when Batman LeBron, his Robin shows up in Anthony Davis. It's a very different team in game 2 than they were in game 1, right? But it was a pretty big indictment on Kawhi. And I have seen over the last 48 hours more Kawhi mock-ups wearing Knick jerseys on Twitter than I've seen in a long time. So, I guess break up the Clips. But you were about to say you think it's going to be a longer series. So let's go. Let's hear it. Let's hear what
I do. I think the Mavs aren't this good and the Clips aren't this bad. So, and I fully see this going 7 games. I don't think the Clips are just going to give up so easily. regardless of what we say from the outside, the Clips are really talented and they have championship pedigree. They've got Serge Ibaka. Remember, he won with the Raptors. Kawhi. Remember, Ty Lue won with the Cavs. So they have some championship pedigree, and I think this is going to be a longer series than we think. So I just want to jump on here and say that. I think it's interesting to go into Staples Center and go 2-0. You think that they're going to sweep them?
I don't think it's going to go 7. It might be like what you call a gentleman's sweep. It might go 5, and the reason for it is Dallas is better than they were last year, and I think the Clippers are worse. I mean, they're still a talented team, but they lost like 2. They used to have 2 6-men of the year. They lost such great bench strength. They lost Montrezl Harrell and they lost Lou Williams, right? Not have either one of them anymore. Those huge losses. That's huge points coming off the bench. It's huge strength on the inside. They are a very different team than they were last year. And who they replace them with? They still have the top 2 with Kawhi and PG, right? But I mean, those are huge losses. Lou Williams was a huge part of their second unit, matching up and besting most other teams' second units, right? So when Kawhi went out and Luka would go out, if the Clippers happened to be down, Lou Williams' team was going to be bringing that back. You know what I mean? He was going to go in there and quickly score and keep them in the games. They don't have anybody doing that right now.
I think they blitz the Mavs and they blow them out in Game 3, and people will be singing a very different tune.
I guess. I mean, but that's the thing, right? Show me. There's no reason to think that. So I said it after Game 1, and I'll say it again after Game 2. There is not a very big difference between these two teams. Both times in the fourth quarter, they were close games. They were anyone's game, right? And for whatever reason, it seems like Dallas pulls away with it when it counts. And often it's not Luka pulling away, although he did hit a couple weird threes last night. He hit 1 3 from like midcourt, and he hit 1 3 like off the wrong foot, 1 foot falling away. I mean, if nothing else, he's good for some highlights, Luka. And when he doesn't have 10 assists and 10 rebounds, it's because instead of having 30 points, he's closing it on 40. It's crazy to watch the kid's game, But, yeah, what I learned about the series is it almost doesn't matter who comes out of this one. I don't think either one of them has the juice to go much further than this series. They're just not complete teams,
Let's keep moving. Suns Lakers tied it up 1-1. AD had a huge game. LeBron had a good game.
So I watched most of that game, and every time the camera panned over to Chris Paul on the bench, I felt like it's deja vu all over again, right? Isn't this like the playoff narrative always with Chris Paul? If we had a healthy Chris Paul, we woulda, coulda, shoulda. Like, have I been hearing that for like a decade?
Isn't it also his responsibility to stay healthy?
I mean, look, this was a fluke thing, right? And somebody, his own teammate came down on his shoulder. But yeah, I guess, right? I mean, wasn't that the whole narrative? Like was with like Golden State, right? Oh, if Chris Paul was healthy, we would have won the championship this year, right? So it seems to be that's like the built-in excuse when Chris Paul goes down. It's like our team, hey, we're able to lose because we didn't have Chris Paul today. Am I wrong? That's like a repetitive thing, right?
When Jordan kept getting injured, he hired Tim Grover. And Tim Grover was a trainer. People know him. He wrote great books and all that stuff. But it was specifically to avoid getting injured because he was getting beat up year after year, season after season. So it's on the player to make adjustments. I mean, how many years? I mean, Chris Paul's been in the league 38 years. He's 38 years old, I believe. Feels like he's 48. At some point, you got to take a step back and be like, I'm constantly getting injured time and time and time again. What can I do differently? It was a fluke injury, but how many times has this happened? It was a hamstring with the Rockets. It was something else. But the point is, I said this. Lakers, as much as I'm not a LeBron guy, they lose game 1. They scope them out. They do their thing. And then they come back and they sweep the team because they're too talented. And when LeBron decides to play, it's game over. He's not even playing, though. He's not even taking the ball to the rim. Now he's just sitting back and taking jump shots. So it's going to be interesting, but I fully believe the Lakers are going to come back and win this series, and I wouldn't be surprised if they actually roped off 4 in a row and won 4-1.
I mean, I think it's less that the Lakers are so fantastic and more just that, I mean, the Suns, it seems like Booker can be shut down unless he's at the free throw line. You know what I mean? It seems like he'll get his points, but they can contain him. And then what else do they have? Cam Johnson.
You're muted, or you lost your audio.
DeAndre Ayton has looked fantastic during the series. He looked good, but I mean, again, containable. Ayton and Booker seem to get theirs, but I mean, no other real contributors, nobody else. No one who I'm like, oh, that, Mikal Bridges, who was like the talk of the town, the talk of the league in the beginning of the year, he's kind of disappeared. For this first two games. I mean, I said this before the playoffs, right? Like, I mean, I have a hard time saying no to the Lakers or even the Clippers until somebody else shows me. Look at these teams that are at the top, right? The Suns, the Jazz, the Nuggets. I mean, they're all good regular season teams. They all seem to put a lot of wins together, but none of them really done anything in the postseason here. None of them's really, show me.
NBA is different in the postseason. Playoff experience matters a lot in the NBA. I mean, it matters in every sport, but it really matters in the NBA because defense is tighter. The refs don't call as much ticky-tacky fouls. So it's I think the Lakers championship pedigree plus the Suns have a lot of young talent. Like Bridges is young, Cam Johnson is young, even Devin Booker is young, Ayton's young. These are all guys that haven't been through a playoff series. They don't know what it takes. They don't know how to make adjustments just yet. I think they're going to have a really bright future. But the Lakers have. LeBron has. AD has. They have a team that's been through the ringer. So that's that. You want to keep moving? You want to keep talking NBA? You want me to get into my play?
Well, how about, what do you think? You think Knicks-Hawks? They play game 2 tonight. What do you think of that?
I'm a spectator for that game because the thing about that game is just going to come down to the last bucket, game after game after game. These teams are it's not that these teams are just so evenly matched in stats. The stats reflect how these rosters are made up. They're so similar. They're so similar in the way they're built that all of these games are going to be so close. They're going to be 1, 2, 3 bucket games. They're going to come down to the final minutes. I would be surprised if the Knicks don't get one on home court. At the same time, like the Hawks could go 2-0 and the Knicks could go to Atlanta and tie it up 2-2. So I think the Knicks take it today, but I think this whole series is going to be extremely tight.
All right. Listen, I'm enjoying basketball. I'm enjoying it's like a parody, right? That's IT, not OD. Everybody's even. Everybody's even. Even the Lakers, who you would think would be a powerhouse, they're coming out of the 7th seed. It's one of those things where who knows what's going to happen, and that's fun. That's fun basketball.
I literally said that from the beginning. I said both number 1 seeds, the Sixers and the Jazz, are vulnerable, and I said this is going to be an interesting playoffs where there's no clear-cut winner. There's no clear-cut best team. We haven't seen that in a long time. It reminds me a lot of like the NCAA tournament, where it's anybody's game. It's who gets hot, and I think that favors the Bucks. I really do think it favors the Bucks. Because the Bucks can't beat the best team playing at their best, but they can beat good teams playing well. And I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're, like I predicted, they're going to sweep the Heat. And I think they're going to carry that momentum. And I think this Nets-Bucks second series is going to be interesting. I think what people are seeing right now is they're seeing the Nets really clamp down on defense, right? Well, you can't change the stripes on a zebra. You could have Durant play defense for a game. You could have Harden play defense for a game. Maybe there's a game where all of them play defense and they blow out the Celtics. Can they do it for 7 games with relentless pressure? That's not their style. That's not the guys they are. And they're going to revert back when things get hard to chucking up shots. They're chuckers, especially Harden. And you saw it actually in the beginning of that Boston Celtics game. Remember they started the game with 10 missed threes?
Yep.
And if the Celtics had anybody other than Jason Tatum, they might have even won game 1. I'm really looking out for the Bucks, and my play today is the Giannis Prism PSA 10. That's a $2,100 card cage. Off of its highs at 7,000. Okay? Sure, that was a really hot market, all that stuff, no questions about it. But Giannis has had a good season this year, almost identical to both of his MVP campaigns. His free throw shooting sucks. Okay. But that's a card that's trading at what? 20%? 25% of its value? Why? What's the reason? And I don't, as much as we talk about base cards, I don't truly, and this is still a base card, but I don't truly believe Giannis should be in the same category of base cards as a Luka or a Zion or a Ja or a Trey, because there's so few of them. There's only, I'll pull it up right here, there's only 2,500 PSA 10s, which is actually a nice number because it's liquid enough to get in and out of, but it's not like the pop is crazy. So that to me, at $2,100, where if you could buy a Kawhi card or a Giannis card, I go Giannis. I think Giannis has way more upside. I think if Giannis makes the NBA Finals, that's a $3,500 card, maybe even more. And I believe that they upset the Nets. I really do. Uh, and I think the kid's future is bright. My play today, I know it's on the higher end, but it's the Giannis Prism PSA 10, $2,100 last sale.
I like the play, but it's going to be tough because people are lumping all of the base into base. They're all saying, "Oh, base, non-numbered, you name it." They're all, and I think that card has been dragged down and continues to get dragged down by the fact that it's just looked at as just another Prism base card, and people don't spend the time to look at the pop reports. I also think he's already been to where you're saying he's going to go. I think what moves that card is he's got to win a title. Because even though it's a base card and it's been beat down, it's still now 2.5 times what a Luka sells for. You know what I mean? And that's tough to go up. If Luka gets knocked out, his card's sitting at $800, and you're saying this card's going to go to $3,200 or $3,500.
The card isn't 2.5 times for Luka. It seems like that, but if you really do the math for the pop to the price, it's fraction, because there's 50,000 Lukas and it's a $900 card. There's 2,500 Giannis's and it's a $2,000 card.
Yeah, that's the part of the equation most people don't do. I like the play. I'm just telling you, I think that it's going to get dragged down because most people who are buying this don't do that additional part. Remember we talked about supply and demand? People don't do that supply portion of it, and that's what Andrew's telling you to do. Take a look at it, right? Because there's a sixth of Giannis as opposed to Luka, right? So 2.5 doesn't sound that bad, right? But I'm telling you, what people are going to do is exactly what I just did, which is, all right, Luka gets knocked out and his PSA 10 is $800. Am I paying 4 times what Luka's rookie Prism PSA 10 is for a Giannis? Yeah, it might be a bargain, especially if he wins the title, because there's more than 4 times the amount of Lukas that are out there, more than 5 times the amount.
So I made this play with the vision that he doesn't actually even have to win the title. I think his cards get a bump if they beat the Nets. I also don't think his cards have that much lower that they can possibly go. I think if they're a $2,000 card, well, what are they becoming? A $1,500 card? They've already been beat down so hard that, like, if you look at it, Luka is what, a third of its peak, half of its peak price, really? It's been trading at $1,500, $1,600. Now it's $860, $900. So it's half. Giannis is 25%. Giannis card has been beat to shit since the beginning of August. So I think that's a card that you're buying someone with huge upside potential with very low downside. So, and I think winning a title, that would send the card to the moon, in my opinion. I think it goes back to 7,000 if that happens. I think just beating the Nets would be a huge feat. And I do think that they're going to beat the Nets.
All right, listen, I don't hate it because it doesn't fall in the same category as everything else with the modern stuff. So I'm glad you did it. I was going to jump in and give my play or my talking point for plays before we did this. And I was going to say basically something like, everybody's looking at basketball right now. We just spent all this time talking about basketball playoffs. Everybody's looking at basketball. And you give a basketball play, which is great. And it's a basketball play that people have kind of shied away from. So I'm just going to say this, right? And I'm not going to give you plays because I already gave 2 of these, and then both of them are still valid. Over the next couple of weeks, guys, my play is look at hockey. My play is look at hockey cards, okay? And it doesn't matter if you are a Connor McDavid guy and you want to grab him because this week his team got eliminated from the playoffs. I think they got swept. I think the Oilers got beat 4-0. And you were expecting him to actually do something, make some noise in the playoffs, not only be the best player in the league, but also now take that step, as we're trying to talk about with Luka in basketball and Giannis in basketball. They got to keep moving forward, and he didn't. They didn't even win a playoff game, I don't think. I would imagine his prices are going to come down, right? I think the Lightning might advance, but if you're a Braden Point guy, if you're an Austin Matthews guy, if you're a Boston guy, if you're a David Pasternak guy, any of these guys that you are, Jack Eichel, not on the best team, I would look at the hockey stuff over the next couple of weeks, because as the playoffs end, you're going to see people move away. You're starting to see ESPN stories about Tom Brady and the veterans, having their first practice away from the facility, and that the starting to talk about football. He had a quote, "Hey, it's starting to feel like football time again." So basketball is crazy now. We got month and change still to go in the basketball playoffs. Baseball's heating up. We're about a third of the way through the season, so here we are. People start talking about the All-Star game soon. Who's an All-Star? Who's not? And hockey will be all but forgotten. And there are some real young talent. List that I just gave you, almost every one of them has the potential to score 50 goals in an 82-game season. And even though we're all in this hobby, like looking for the next best thing, what's going to grow next, hockey, while some cards have gone up, like the Young Guns cards for someone like Connor McDavid or Austin Matthews, I think hockey is an area where, for whatever reason, people aren't pumping, maybe because they're not comfortable speaking about it. I'm not going to go into some great diatribe about all these guys. I'm not well-versed enough in it. But I am starting to look at hockey as a potential play, and I think we talk about buy in the off season and sell in the run up. I think this is my play for you guys today. I just ran off a whole list of young players. These are all people who are 25 and under. Every single one I just named. It's kind of like the young up and comers. The guys who could take over for Ovi as he starts to slow down as the top goal scorers in the league. This is the time to start making those off-season hockey plays. Buy into hockey now, and no risk. Buy him now, buy him a week or two, buy him as the playoffs end and no one's looking at it, and then hold him for a couple months. And as the preseason starts to ramp up, the prices are going to be more than what you're paying from now when people are moving out, trying to put their money into basketball and football.
I mean, you made two hockey plays. The other guy was Austin Matthews, the Russell Westbrook of the NHL, and that one proved to be super accurate. I'm not going to doubt you on that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't say some of these guys' names. There's this guy Miro on the Dallas Stars. I'll say it's like Heiskanen or something like that. I'll say it wrong, but that guy's going to win multiple Norris trophies. I mean, it's going to happen. Hockey's got some good young talent in the pipeline, and I'm going to say it. But if our pals in the hobby can make soccer happen, why not hockey?
Because soccer's infinitely bigger. I might give myself a compliment. I did this whole episode playing through an injury. I was cutting onions and I'm making tomato sauce, and my eyes have been burning this entire episode. Yet I have not complained once. I've just played through the injury, and I just wanted to give myself a little back for that.
You just ruined my day. You ruined my day. You absolutely ruined my day. I was going to hang up in this episode and say, I am so good at what I do. This episode was so damn good that Andrew was crying tears of joy just watching me work, and it was just the friggin' onion. God damn it! I thought I was gonna leave. I was like, yes, look at this. He didn't even know how motivating he was. I was gonna fly high the rest of the day, but now you ruined it.
My eyes have been burning, but I don't flinch, and I bring you guys $1 million plays back to back to back.
The $1 million man with the $1 million plan, John Anthony. You know what that's from?
Cinderella Man.
No. Cinderella Man is Jim J. Braddock. That's Russell Crowe. The movie I gave you was Matthew McConaughey and Al Pacino. Mm-hmm. And Al Pacino. And it's a gambling movie.
Speaking about Matthew McConaughey, we're going to have Eric Myers, Paoli Hustle, back on in a few weeks. Every time Eric and I, we've built a little bit of a relationship. Love that guy. If you guys don't follow him, make sure to follow him. His voice reminds me of Matthew McConaughey. Every time I talk to him, I think I'm talking to Matthew McConaughey. So thank you for that reminder.
All right. You're welcome. So we got anything else? We're gonna pack it in now and end this episode. I'm excited for tomorrow's guest episode. Yeah, man. Can I do a little 1 minute top shot? Can I throw a little top shot in? We haven't talked top shot in a while. I sold a bunch of my stuff. I purchased 20-something Top Shot moments today. Oh, and I'm giving away a LeBron tonight. Check out our Twitter page, Luka's Tigers and Bronze, the Luka Nation Network. Check out Twitter. I got all kinds of stuff going on over there. I'm directing everybody to go and subscribe to our YouTube page. If you haven't done that yet, please head on over there. We would really appreciate that. Subscribe to our YouTube page. We are starting to add more video content there. We're talking about like shorter form. That way, if you don't want to watch an entire or listen to an entire episode, we're going to clip up these episodes. You can see some of them on there already. We're going to put some of the more relevant parts, some of the guest episodes that get clipped up. We're trying to put some more easily digestible content out there for you guys. And you can find some of that on YouTube if you can. But so my Top Shot purchases, they finally, after months and months and months, they finally announced the Cool Cat Challenge coming to a conclusion. You remember this? That was like a huge master challenge with like 29 moments. You had to collect 29 moments. It was like 5, and then they gave you 1. 5, and then they gave you 1. You had to complete them all, and at the end, you get a LaMelo ball. That's going to be the Cool Cat, the Master Challenge LaMelo ball. It's going to be a rookie LaMelo, and it's going to be 3,000-ish, maximum on the circulating count, the edition number. So it's pretty rare. I thought months ago that I was going to do this, and then I just gave in because it was too long, and the prices were coming down, and I moved all of my stuff, and I think I sold like the Luka Cool Cat for a couple $1,000s just by itself. So the Luka Cool Cat's the biggest one. It's what they call a bottleneck. It's only 3,000 and change of that one. So in order to get these 29, you at least need that one. That's like the big Luka Cool Cat. Devin Booker is one, but some of the other ones have like 20,000. The majority of these 29 cost about $10. So here's what I did, guys. I'm not telling you to do it, not do it. It doesn't matter. I'm not selling these. It's for a challenge. So I bought them one of each because you have to have one of each for a challenge. I purchased all 29 of them today. So now I'm going to get the LaMelo Cool Cat. And here's why, guys. All right? And I'll tell you because I want you guys to have the same chance. It was not that much money because, some of these were $9, right? It was not. The Luka is the key, right? So the Luka was the one that cost a little bit of money. But even that was so much less than it was. But here's the thing. There's only going to be 3,000 and change of these. Maybe even less than that, depending on how many people completed. Last I looked, it was like 1,900 people who had completed. Right? So they allegedly assign these to people who do the challenge. They give the rewards out, which means somebody's getting serial number 1. Somebody's getting serial number 2, his jersey number. Somebody's going to get these low serial number moments on these. And even though the common one, number 3,000, might not be worth that much money, you have this lottery ticket. You have this chance. It's like opening a pack and maybe getting a 1 of 1 out of it. You have a shot that there are not going to be that many people who get that shot. So to me, it's great to have the LaMelo Cool Cat. It'll have some value. It's great to have the Luka Cool Cat. I may ultimately lose money on this, and most people do lose money on challenges, right? Not that much because it's been beaten down so much already in price that some of these are so cheap. But whatever I lose, whether it's $100, $150, 200, whatever it is that I end up, the value goes down on these things. I think it's worth it to have that lottery ticket, to open up the pack, to get that LaMelo Ball Cool Cats, and maybe get a chance at a single-digit serial number that's worth significantly more than what my investment in the whole thing is going to be. So it's just what I'm doing today in Top Shot. I know I spent a couple minutes giving that out there. We haven't really talked about Top Shot too much, but I know we're directing some Top Shot folks from Twitter over to the account, and I welcome you all. We got a lot of new followers. Our Twitter account went from 500 2 days ago to over 1,000 now. So thank you all, and welcome to all the new followers who we've added in the last 2 days. So that's it, man. There's my thing on Top Shot. That's what I did this morning. I'm doing a thing. What do you think? Waste of money?
I just logged back into Top Shot. I was taking a look, man. It's Top Shot's so interesting. It's going to be a case study taught in universities and in years to come on like the birth of NFTs. I don't know, man. I'm going to trust your take on this because I haven't actually been on the marketplace in some time. And I just looked at the prices and they just bled.
Yeah.
They've bled.
Yep, they definitely are. They definitely are down. But this is just it's really not a play on the prices. It's a play on, you have 6 days to do this challenge. So if you want to wait a little while and see the prices go down, go up, you name it. It is a pure gamble play. That's all it is. It's a pure gamble play on hopefully getting a decent serial number when they give the stuff out. If everybody else wants to gamble on that, that's what I'm doing. I'm just letting you know, guys. It's relevant.
I'll say, like, I've noticed on Top Shot Twitter that more influencers are saying, "Hey, Top Shot, what's your marketing plan? What's your plan to add new accounts?"
Yep.
So it's kind of this thing where, like, we're a little bit disenfranchised with Top Shot, and rightfully effing so. But at the same time, if they're able to acquire users, keep building, maybe there's something here. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a gamble for sure, in my opinion. I'm
Yep.
gonna be straight up.
100%. 100%. But it's fun. It's fun for me. I've never gotten a low serial number in any of these things. But I figure if there's one to take a shot on, it's one like this that there's not that many of. So who knows? And if I'll wind up, guys, in a week when I get this, I'll come back on. I'll tell you the serial number I got was 3127, and it's one of the worst ones that's out there, or whatever it is. I'll let you know what it is. But I'm having a little bit of fun with it. Why not? Thanks,
Luka and
everybody.
we love you guys.